as of today, most public schools across Texas are now required to display the Ten Commandments in every classroom. The new state law is going into effect despite a legal showdown. A federal judge is temporarily blocking the legislation in 11 school districts while it remains in effect for the rest of Texas. The state's Attorney General Ken Paxton appealed that ruling. He says that, quote, "The woke radicals seeking to erase our nation's history will be defeated. I will not back down from defending the virtues and values that built this country." There's no timeline set for an appeals court to decide if the law violates the Constitution. Joining us now is Rabbi Mara Nathan with Temple Bethel in San Antonio. Rabbi, thank you for your time. So your family is one of 16 opposing the Ten Commandments law. Why do you oppose it?
Well, I oppose the law on two fronts. First, the listing of the Ten Commandments that are part of the law don't reflect Jewish tradition. And second, and probably even more importantly, I don't believe, nor does my family believe, that religion belongs in our public schools. So the posting of these Ten Commandments there is a direct statement by our state that Christianity is the religion of our state, and any student who isn't Christian or isn't even Protestant is going to feel othered, is going to feel left out and excluded from what is seen as a main perspective of the state.
So how do you feel now that this law is in effect in nearly all Texas public schools besides those 11 districts affected by your lawsuit?
Well, of course, I am grateful that my child is not going to have to deal with these Ten Commandments, but having heard from so many people across the state who are distressed that they're seeing the Ten Commandments already up in their classrooms, I am deeply concerned. And I'm also just very frustrated that our state especially keeps moving forward with this statewide Christian doctrine, the idea that our state is explicitly and maybe even exclusively Christian, which is not.
If teachers were to find workarounds like displaying information on other world religions next to the required Ten Commandments poster, would that be enough to make you feel like your cause is being heard?
Well, I'm not an attorney, so I'm not really clear on all the nuances of the laws, but my understanding is that the law expressly prohibits that kind of posting. It's very clear that the Ten Commandments, very large, very conspicuous in every classroom, kindergarten through 12th grade, is what the law is requiring, specifically to show that these commandments, which obviously are instructions, right? Commandment, instruction, are meant for everybody, regardless of whether they are Christian or Jewish or no faith at all.
So how do you respond specifically to the Attorney General and others in the state who argue that the Ten Commandments simply represent the values that the United States is built on, so they argue it is appropriate for them to be posted in each public school classroom? They say it's just going back to, what influenced the country.
Well, I'm not an attorney. Again, I'm not a constitutionalist, but I'm pretty sure that the Constitution has nothing specific about the Ten Commandments in it. And of course, the First Amendment really is explicit about making sure that no one feels like they are being pressured to observe one religion over another. So I agree. I don't think that the Ten Commandments are part of our Texas or national history, other than the fact that there are those who observe different faiths that have them as part of their faith traditions.
Right, and the proponents of this argue, well, the Bible played a big role, and therefore that is why, and according to this law, it requires a specific Protestant version of the Ten Commandments and mandates a 16 by 20 inch minimum poster in all classrooms. If ultimately the Attorney General prevails and the Ten Commandments are required to be posted in every single Texas public school, even the 11 school districts that currently do not have to, what will you do? Do you plan to move your child to a different school?
I think if that unfortunately does occur, we'll have to think about what our next steps are for our child. But right now, my main concern is taking care of my own family, taking care of the families in my congregation, and also being there as a support for Jewish and non-Jewish people who have reached out to me to figure out what they can do, to commiserate, to share their worries and concerns. So I'm going to leave the other part to the lawyers, but I'm going to keep doing my work as a rabbi and also as a mom to support my own family and the greater community.
Tell us more about what the students are saying to you about this.
So at least in Alamo Heights, which is my school district, the posters were not up. So we haven't had to deal with it explicitly in our school. But I think children, particularly Jewish children, in San Antonio often are a significant minority in their classrooms, maybe one or two kids in their entire grade who are Jewish. And so they're already feeling like they're in a space that is mainly Christian. They sometimes have to explain themselves or explain their faith or ask awkward questions about why they don't celebrate Christmas, for instance. So having one more mainline Christian thing in their faces just makes them uncomfortable. And even if it's not something that is being spoken out loud in the classroom, the fact that it's there all day, every day, that's there showing them that that's what their school stands for. And I know that my child's concerned and their friends are concerned too.
All right, Rabbi Mara Nathan, thank you so much for your time. We'll see how this all plays out.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for focusing on the story, Pamela. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, we're going to stay on it.